Welcome everyone to Jerry Grimes' Aquatic-Life live stream. I have done a video in the past on cleaning this tank and excuse me, how I do water changes. I missed a couple past Wednesday videos, so I figured why not do a live stream on the whole process. So that's what I'm gonna do on how I do water change on the 220. It's going to be a fairly extensive process because I have to clean the sump down below. So first things first, I have to, well, I guess I can start draining them. First off, I was debating on what those. I'm going to do something a little different or not. But basically there's a chamber over here where the water comes down to in these pipes, and I keep polyfiber or polyfill, filter floss, whatever you want to call it, stuffed in there. Problem is when it gets dirty and detritus and everything else collects in here that drains down from up there to be filtered out, it creates resistance, and I'm getting like calcium and water deposit build up around the seams of these pipes because they're not PVC cemented. That way they can be removed to be cleaned. So that tells me that there's too much resistance down here, causing it to kind of seep through the crack of the pipe. I could glue the pipe and then continue doing it the way I am, and then it'll just make it 10 times harder to clean. So I'm going to do a water change, drain it down, empty that, and I'm going to utilize this chamber here. I'm going to utilize this chamber right here, and I'm going to put polyfill in there instead of in the back, which is kind of hard to see right now, but I'll show you guys in a little while. So I'm going to start my process. It'll be a little difficult to do live and explain everything, but I'm going to do my best, so hang in there. Alright, fish are doing well, and for this job I'll be using my Python water change system. Get some light on the situation. First I'll remove this light that lights up the refugium on my sump. Lift up the lid. I have nails that holds it. I'll probably end up having to take it off because I know it's going to be in the way. But I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. This, of course, is going to come out. I think all this noodly stuff is going to come out as well. And probably be moved. These pads are dirty as well, so I'm going to go ahead and change that. Anything that could have been affected by the medication or the aloe in it, I want to remove it and put new in. That way to rid any remnants of the medication left in the system. It's not necessarily a bad thing. You can use charcoal with carbon or whatever. I just try to use less and less of that so my water is cleaner naturally versus chemically. Big difference in being chemically clean and naturally. So I like to do more water changes to make sure it stays clean. I did do a test. I'll take you in here real quick. I did do a water test come out, my pH is about 6.6, which is acceptable. I keep it between 6.6 and 7. Generally stays around 6.8. There we go. As you can see, let's see if I can bring this into frame. And my nitrates coming in a little under 5 parts per million. So we're doing good there also. It looks like it's about 4 parts per million. Let's see if I can flip this up. I'm sorry, I'm going to adjust this camera. There we go. Now you guys should get a better view of what's going on. Alright, I'm going to get everything started in just a second. Now how I get my siphon started, I already unplugged my wave maker. I normally go a little below that, to about here. And generally I remove the lids and I clean them also. Down at the bottom. Mess. Now I just start it by my mouth and then let it go that way. It works. For my situation, you may be different. And we're draining in the sink. So what I'm looking for, it's not going to drain from up here. I still have it on, everything on. So it's going to drain from the sump, and that's what I'm looking for. I want the sump to go down a bit, and then we'll come back to what we were doing. I'm hoping the camera doesn't fall. And my internet connection is bad. What is going on? I have to restart it. So I start draining down. It's not draining a whole lot as of right now. It's just kind of trickling. You see our water levels dropping. And that's what we want. Turned off the air pump. That and the UV sterilizer. So we can keep draining and keep withdrawing. Buildup and detritus and all that out. I'm having an issue with the black coming back since I switched to LED also. In the meantime, beams work, I'm pretty sure. LEDs, they are good for the money. Now me personally, I like my tank brighter to display the CICHLID's colors. If this was an African tank, they'd be perfect. But it's not, and a little more blue than I would like. I want it to be a little whiter. But I will be upgrading to a 1 watt, 6 foot Beamworks LED before Christmas. We just hit October 1st today, so yeah, a couple more months. Hopefully you guys don't mind the long live stream. Very bad internet connection. Wonderful. So in the meantime, I'm going to move this. I have a step ladder I use. Get down in here. We may remove the lids and stuff so I can get to everything. These are waterproof anyway. I just don't want to knock them off. And it helps gas the tank off a bit. I wanted to stream the whole process, so hopefully it isn't too long and boring. I do have a clamp LED up here, kind of an accessory light. The water's draining down now, and I'm actually impressed on how level the tank has stayed. It's not perfectly level, of course. We're a little lower on this side. Otherwise, we had to pour concrete pillars and all that. I wish I could have documented it, but it was a dirty job. Yeah, it was rough. But I didn't document any of that, and I apologize. So for most tank jobs, just a little tip, if you're wanting to clean hard water stains, calcium buildup, anything like that, from a salt or freshwater aquarium, I recommend using vinegar and water solution. You can use a 1:1 ratio or 1 part vinegar to 2 parts water. Wipe it out. Just make sure you rinse it well. But there is another product called Barkeeper's Friend that is the active ingredient in vinegar, azelaic acid, which helps. That does the same thing. It's about 100 times stronger. It's a powder form. So then again, it takes a lot more rinsing to remove it, but if the stains are bad enough, then it may call for it for that job. I use magic erasers also, but I don't use them in the tank when it's full. A lot of people say it's safe. I just don't do it personally. If it works for you, awesome. So we're still draining the tank down. I think I'm at a point where, see, of course, it filled my sump back up to run down. I'm debating on whether or not I want to flip all these rocks or just remove them or redo the entire scape. I was going to make a video on that later on redoing the scape. These little black algae scraper pads are great, and they do the job. So we're already 20 minutes in. I'm trying to move it along, but I do want to still take my time. Like I said, I do have a prior video on what I do. Trying to get my content to be a little more enjoyable and less boring. I know this video obviously is going to be long. That's why I picked the live stream, less editing, and I can get the video up before too late today. If you don't know, I do videos weekly. If you're new to this channel, I appreciate you tuning in. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss my weekly updates on Sundays. On Wednesdays, I generally throw in a secondary video of a job or a project that I had going on for that week or the week prior. So check that out as well. And I look forward to seeing you guys again. Today we're cleaning our 220-gallon aquarium in our home. And doing a water change. Pretty good, a substantial amount. I want to take out at least 100 gallons of water and replace it. Now, me personally, safety precautions is if I make sure that I don't wash my hands with any kind of detergent type soap, like Dawn or antibacterial soap or anything like that. If you do, make sure you rinse thoroughly. And by rinse thoroughly, I mean like basically rinse the entire soap that you put on your hands off twice. I'd rather be safe than sorry. Get that detergent in your water and it's a recipe for disaster. Not only does it kill bacteria, but it will harm your fish. Now, if you're having big problems with your hands being nasty, use some chlorine bleach on your hands and rinse it. I don't recommend it, but you can do it. I have done it when I've had some nasty jobs. But anyways, I'm rambling at this point. basically just doing little things here and there while the water is going down. And I do have a couple mean fish in here that will bite, so I have to kind of watch them. They don't feel very good when they bite. Bad. Can't see, I'm sorry. I'm removing the rocks, flipping them over. Algae is one of those that is really hard to get out of your tank. There are ways to do it. People have successfully done it with CICHLID, which is a fairly high, becomes highly recommended. It will lower your pH typically too if you do it for long periods of time, and it can cause other algae to spike in growth. So I don't do it. I've used it a couple times like that. But I don't think it helps too much because you have to do it consistently. I will not use algae fix or any type of chemicals like that. I just want to keep my tanks as natural as I possibly can. I'm debating on whether I want to remove a lot of this stuff. At least try. now we're just letting the hose do its job. It's hooked to the sink. It's not the fastest drain. When I want it to drain faster, I'll run it out my door right here. But there's no real need to right now because I'm just getting stuff out of the way. My little spotted Raphael catfish, I forgot about him. He's going to want to hide. And I'll just remove this spot. Could be a stripe in here also. There's the stripe. See, he ain't really saying that too much longer. You're going to get stuck. There's plenty of rocks in that. Hope everyone's doing alright today. I don't expect a whole lot of people to tune in because probably at church and got other stuff going on, which I respect. try to stir the sand a little bit, get any kind of air pockets out. I like my sand pushed back towards the back a little bit. The best you can. They'll move it a little bit, but nothing too major. Let the hose do its thing. Cleaned it up a bit. These rocks, I'm going to go rinse them off. I have a few more choice rocks that I got from the nursery. I'm going to set up here. They're the same kind of rocks. These have been scrubbed with a wire brush and cleaned with vinegar water solution and let them sit. What happens, they get covered in that blackbeard algae, or BBA, and it ruins the look of the rock. Now, I kind of like it in small amounts. So like as you can see it here, this one's closest to the light. I used to light that plant, and it's just horrible. And it keeps growing. Now it is a living organism, so it moves in the current and whatever. But at the same time, it is ugly, and I don't really want to see it. My internet connection is really bad. If we hit an hour and it's video quality, I'll restart this live stream and label it part 2 so you can come back to it, because this is using up a significant amount of my battery. Next I'm going to kick the faucet on here in a second and blast the water a bit. See if I can remove some of the crud on that side. have the water on full blast and see if I can get a suction. If not, we'll remove this hose. And it's not the greatest. From a big fish, they have big poop and it's heavy. But I'll probably end up running a diatom pump when I fill it back up. Add the chemicals, let it settle. And then I may run the diatom pump on it to get the fine particles out of the water, because I always had that problem with this tank, especially when I disturb the sump. I still have my Cascade 1500 filter running. So I'm going to run it out the door. stuff, so I stopped the siphon by allowing air to get in it. Much better pressure when I run it out the door. Main thing is to not suck the sand up, or at least not a lot of it. I don't mind some of it coming out because that's why I put a lot to begin with. still drainage. I do have this Amazon sword planted in here, which it doesn't do great, but it is growing, so I just kind of left it. But it needs to be kind of cleaned off a bit. BBA actually competes with the plant for some of its nutrients, so I'm trying to remove as much as I can without killing it, which I'm surprised that the cichlids haven't done that for me yet. They're all weak. Plants can get huge. Rubber band or something, put around that. I'm not a huge fan of rubber banding plants like this, but I gotta do something to keep it intact. going strong. I'm about to the end of my line where I stopped draining, but I think I'm going to go a little further so I can remove some stuff from this side, which needs to be done. Now all the fish are hanging out back here because it's their safe spot, so they thought. Plenty of sand pushed over to this side now. Sorry guys, I've been kind of concentrating. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing. And I don't want to be too loud because my wife is still in bed, but I know she can hear me. Alright, we're down to where we want to be. I don't like to change too much water because it can shock the system. That's pretty much it. Go back here. It's like a little privacy rail. Excuse my language, Dad. Becky, she always does that, though. Must be used to it. How much she'll run out of the cage, or swim out of the cage real fast and chase me down. I'm impressed she didn't do that. necessarily like that thing, but I normally cover it with rocks. It gives the 2 Raphael catfish a place to hide. Pump on so I can drain the sump a little bit. No easier way than turn the pump on. Watch it flow. You notice it comes from 2 directions there. That way to give them some warm water, because this is how we heat the water down here. Let me check my internet. Internet connection's better. We're making progress, guys. Sorry for the being so time consuming. Drained out about as far as I can get it. Out of this so I can use it. an ordinary water can, so I'm not going to rush through it. basically now all I'm doing is putting rocks back in orientation in which I want them. I'm sorry if you guys can't see what's going on. I do apologize, but I gotta move forward as much as I can. And the computer don't take long. Alright, so I'm going to start putting things back together. I got this pad cleaned off the best I could. I'm not going to replace it. The other pads look good because I cleaned them a couple weeks ago before I treated with meds. And the tank doesn't really smell. like any type of aloe vera or any medication, there's maybe left. So I'll just deal with that for now. Deal with the pads when the time comes, so I don't waste any more of your guys' time. Try to make these live streams fairly short and sweet, but not everything goes as planned. So, with that being said, yeah, we just kind of do what we can when we can. Otherwise, all this needle stuff out of here. Pull these out. Normally I put a towel down. I figured I'd wait so it didn't get caught up in my step ladder legs. Good. next time I think I'll save you guys the torture and edit the video instead of live streaming this, because considering all the stuff that I wanted to do to this tank, yeah, it wasn't a good idea to live stream. I'm sorry. So here, all we're going to do is take filter fiber on the bottom of this channel here, because I removed the noodle stuff. I'll explain what I'm doing here in just a second. So instead of the foam being where my water drains down, it's going to be in here, in this little channel. And I do use quite a bit of it, that's for certain. Sorry if the water's loud and hard to hear over. Splash. I try not to use too much filter cloth because it can stop it up and you can overflow. So I'll grab some quilt pad or polyester polyfill and shove on the other side. And it's not near as tough, and it will actually allow water to travel through. Pretty much got that. So I'll grab a little extra of this. Thin it out. You don't want to pack it in there. You just want to, I like it just to lay in there. It serves the purpose because it's going to compact as soon as more water starts flowing through. But we don't want it to compact so much that it doesn't allow water to pass through either. That's bad. I think that's pretty much it. Now we're going to put this bad boy. Now this will help push it down. There we go. That's pretty much it on that. I'm not going to pack that down too tight. And then when this raises up, I know that it's too packed and water will flow through here. Now I'm probably going to drill a couple holes in here so the water can pass over if there's an emergency. Otherwise, that's pretty much done and ready to fill through the tank. Now of course, the tank is low, but I'm going to go ahead and start filling it up. And I have rocks outside, hardscape that I need to bring in. So that's something that I definitely got to do. I was going to change the pad, as you can see, the blue pad, but it didn't need it. I forgot I had already done it. So this stuff I can put away. We got the water about 80 degrees. I'm going to add 2 caps of brine, which will roughly treat 100 gallons of water and help remove the chlorine. Now as we get further up, I'll add probably 2 more caps, treat the entire volume of the tank, since I'll probably stress the fish out a little bit because I don't do these big of water changes on a weekly basis. This is more monthly, bi-monthly basis, depending on how the rocks look, and there's other variables, of course, nitrates, and if the pH fluctuates a lot. You kind of got to go by your own judgment on things like that. So it's filling up now, and I got to move on to a couple other things. Which includes, but not limited to, removing this stuff back here, which I don't look forward to at all. Pull it out. Probably end up having to remove the hose, or this pipe back here. And I'll set it across here like so. Now this has bivalves down in here. I'm just gonna put them in this bowl for now. There's probably too many to fit in this bowl, but it works. We're going to remove all this muck. And I'll show you what I'm talking about in just a moment. Me personally, I add American CICHLID salt to my big tank. And generally African CICHLID salt for the 125 with the Africans in it. Only to help as a pH buffer, calcium, help with trace elements and such. Things like that. And for this, South American is a half teaspoon for 30 gallons. I'll just sprinkle a little bit. That way it can dissolve. You're supposed to dissolve it outside of the tank in a container of water, but it's not necessary. As long as you let it dissolve properly. When you're adding water is the best time to do it. You don't want to do it when you're just adding a little bit of the evaporated water, unless it's really needed. This way it'll dissolve little by little. pH was a little bit low, but I'm going to add some neutral regulator to help balance it out a bit. 90% of the products that I use are made by CICHLID, and I back them 100%. And I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that. They didn't pay me anything to tell me to say that I use their products and only their products. It's just it's what's readily available to me and what works for my tanks personally. So you need 2 tablespoons treats between 20 and 40 gallons depending on the acidity. Now I did add the salt, which helps with calcium and other micronutrients. Anyways, I'm using my siphon hose right now And instead of grabbing a little baby pump and hose and sucking out the water down there, I'm gonna use a towel. It's probably the cheapest way to do it. But see back there, I think I've showed this on camera before. That right there is where the water comes down. You can see the pipes there and drains down in there, overflows into there, up through that little canal, up over, and then it's going to go through the filter floss now, down. There are bio balls down in this area. But that's the gist of it. I only have about 6 more minutes, and I'm pretty sure that YouTube cuts you off at 2-hour mark. So if it does, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If it doesn't, I will keep going. So hopefully it doesn't, but there's always that possibility. I'm pretty sure it's only a 2-hour window of recording. So anyways, I appreciate you guys watching. I know it was slightly boring, but you can look forward to seeing another video from me Wednesday, and of course one from my home on an update on what's going on here, fish related or not. I'll see you next Sunday. I just don't want the dirty water back in the system. So as much as the debris and all that I can get out of there, the better. Because it's like mud. Muck is mud. It's kind of expected when you trap all the debris that comes from the main tank into a little channel or a little space. It's going to get gross. So hopefully doing it the way that I set it up now will be easier to maintain. Because this, to be quite honest, is a pain in the arse. Now, I'm glad I don't have to do it every week, like changing a little blue pad and a hang on the back filter. Because if I did, I'd throw it out the damn window. So hopefully the new way I have it set up will be a lot more beneficial, easier to take care of, and I can see when there's a problem. The way it's set up now, there ain't really a whole lot I can do, but tear it all down and clean it. So maybe this will fix that problem. Getting the tank filled up a little bit, I'll add another cap of prime in about 5 minutes. And don't worry, I don't wear the same shirt every day of the week. It just happens that I end up wearing this shirt when I record video or go to a job. King of DIY needs to send me about 7 more of them. So Joey Mullen, if you see this, which I doubt you will, I need more shirts. You can print some with Jared Grimes' Aquatic-Life on the back. That'd be awesome. Kidding. Goodbye. I'm still going to use the bio balls to diffuse the water a little bit, which should help. It's like mud. Basically it is. If you guys can see that or not. Disgusting. Add a little bit more salt since I did take out about 100 gallons. I only use the salt about every other water change. It does help. But since my pH was low, I thought it was a good idea to go ahead and use 50% amount of what it says to use. So it says 1 teaspoon treats 30 gallons. I'm doing 1 teaspoon to treat 60 to 75 gallons. So I treated about 150 gallons of the water, give or take. Now this, I'm not sure how I want to do it. I was going to put a little sponge on the bottom. I don't see the point. So, I'm going to go ahead and add these back. Basically, this whole sump is waterproof. There's the stand, anyway. The water has nowhere to go. I can dry it up at any given time. Or not. It'll dry. I keep this stuff called damp red inside the stand. And obviously I keep a lid on the sump. Right along, the tank's not too cool, not too warm. Alright, so it does let me finish it. Well, that's what not to do. Don't break the damn lid that you're cleaning in the bathtub. Vinegar and water solution is what I use to clean the glass lids. These particular lids are heavy, and my hands were wet and slick, and I just dropped it on my tile floor in the bathroom. Needless to say, didn't work out so well for the lid, but I didn't cut myself, so that's a plus. Now I have to come up with a lid solution for this tank for the meantime, so I can spend another $100 on glass lids. So I don't think you can buy just one. I think you have to buy the whole kit. So accidents do happen. You guys keep safety in mind when you are messing with glass or leaning on a tank or whatever the case, because accidents do happen, and it's not something that you can just say, oh well, I'm really careful so this won't happen. It may not 5 million times, but it only takes once. Anyways, I'm filling back up and put the rock skate back, and I will do an update video probably Wednesday. If not, I'll do an update on Sunday to show you how it turned out. So I don't keep you guys any longer. My phone's about to die, so I didn't keep that in mind. Anyways, until I see you guys next time, me and the 220 are out. Now I have to figure out what to do about the lid situation, which sucks because this tank is noisy when it's running, and now we're gonna hear it because the lids, I'm gonna be missing a lid. It won't be sealed all the way. Anyways, appreciate you guys tuning in, and I will see you next week.